Michael Chaves, director of The Conjuring Last Rites. I'm so stoked to talk to you today because not only is The Conjuring Universe remarkable, but I loved this film so much. The epic lighting design, the scenes with mirrors, complex familial themes. So tell us, what was the most challenging part about directing this film? Because it was pretty epic.
Oh my gosh, you are awesome. You're so sweet and you have great movie taste. Um, I think the biggest challenge was, so much of that is like I wish I could take credit for the lighting and the amazing design. And so much of that is just like the incredible team that I just had the good choice or the luck of hiring. I think the biggest challenge going in was just, landing that big emotional journey. And, we really, I knew going in, and I think so many final chapter stories, movies, TV shows always struggle with the ending. And I think so much of it is also comes from just an audience's reluctance to let go and say goodbye. And so I was, because I think that there's things that were like, other past series that probably have gotten unfairly criticized. And I think, but it comes down to like, we don't like things to end. We don't like, no one loves going to funerals. Well, weirdos do, but like, not, it's sad to say goodbye. And so, framing it around Judy, framing it like ending with a wedding, with the most beautiful way to say goodbye, letting go of a child as they kind of start their own life. And then, honestly, my biggest contribution was that opening, her birth scene.
Yeah.
That wasn't in there originally. I was like, I want to put that in. And because I think it's kind of a great bookend to like the story of like, we start with her birth and then we have to carry her through her life and then let her go.
Yeah, no, it was super nostalgic for me with the mother-daughter relationship, and a lot of the mirror imagery reminded me of so many films I grew up with as a kid. But you really did the last chapter justice. And I want to hear you actually speak more about the mother-daughter relationship and we have this horror film club called Girls Like Horror. And so we love films with female protagonists, and the Conjuring franchise has so many amazing, not only female protagonists, but female demons. Can you speak to any of that?
Yeah, I think that's always these movies have always been about mothers and daughters. And even if you look at the first one, it's like, obviously, Lorraine has a relationship with Judy, but the real, that nightmare moment at the very end, and they're trying to avert with an exorcism, is a mother she's going to kill her daughter. And so I think that that has always been like the focus, and it's always been about families. And with this, I think that just the most powerful idea of like centering around this mother daughter, and even the mirror itself, the idea that like the children are a reflection of their parents, and that we're kind of a reflection of our own, parents, and that, our children are reflections of us. And you're kind of dealing with that. And like, it's funny, like on Zoom, so we're so used to seeing our mirrored like reflections that when you like, I was seeing just before this, it was like the unmirrored reflection. And I'm like, wait, I look totally different, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that that's like the thing when you're looking at kids, it's like, it's kind of like you, but they are very different. And you're kind of dealing with the fact that they're like, that is like, they are their own person and they're going to have things that are very similar to you, but they're also going to have things that are just so, you have to reconcile.
Yeah, and what a beautiful way to symbolize that, generational, whether it's like trauma or traits passed down through the mirror. I thought it was so cool. So sadly, we have to wrap up really soon, but I have to know, what is your favorite horror subgenre and or film? Hard question, I know. I hate getting asked.
Okay. Favorite horror film would either be The Shining or The Exorcist. And I know they're like cliches, but The Exorcist is so good. And
Yeah.
it's so good in not the big ways. It's so good in the small ways. It's like there are so many small moments that build in that movie. Just like I could go off like for another
Yeah.
like for too long on that. This in terms of subgenre, you know, it's funny. I actually really enjoy, and this is kind of like in the big spectrum, I really like it all. But actually, the thing that I my weird thing that I love is like I love like tech horror,
Oh,
which you don't see a lot of, but like scanners and just like I don't know. I think that that stuff is so fun and weird.
oh, amazing. Well, I totally saw references to Shining in your work with the mirror, so definitely makes a lot of sense. Michael, thank you so much. And we're going to get the word out on the digital release of The Conjuring Last Rites. Everyone should see it.
Awesome. Christine, it's so great talking to you. And I like, good luck with everything.
Thanks so much.